Every major American skyscraper built in the last 40 years rose from the ground through a piece of European engineering. The concrete boom pump, a truck-mounted vehicle with a hydraulic folding boom that extends 60 meters into the sky and delivers liquid concrete through a steel pipe to the top floor of a 50-story building. Without this machine, the modern American skyline does not exist. The Trump Tower in Chicago, the Salesforce Tower in San Francisco, the One World Trade Center in New York, every high-rise tower, every deck pour on a steel frame building, every major bridge deck in the United States got poured through a concrete boom pump. For most of that history, those pumps came from 3 European companies. Putzmeister in Eichstätt, Germany, founded in 1958. Schwing in Herne, Germany, founded in 1934. Geffa in Senegal, Italy, founded in 1928. 3 family businesses and middle-stand companies that dominated the global concrete pump category for generations. If you poured American high-rise concrete, you poured it through German or Italian iron. But something happened between 2008 and 2012 that almost nobody in American construction noticed. 3 Chinese companies quietly bought all 3. A Zoomlion-led consortium bought Sife in September of 2008 for 271 million euros. Sany and Chinese private equity partner CITIC bought 100% of Putzmeister in January of 2012 for 360 million euros, roughly 475 million US dollars, with Sany itself taking 90%. 6 months after that, XCMG closed on a 52% majority stake in Schwing. The machines kept the European names, the American concrete industry kept pouring, and within a 5-year window, 3 of the 4 dominant European concrete pump manufacturers had become subsidiaries of Chinese industrial conglomerates. If this is the kind of story you want more of, subscribe. We cover the acquisitions, the supply chains, and the quiet takeovers that reshape American construction while nobody is watching. Start with what a concrete boom pump actually does. A boom pump is a truck chassis, usually a Mercedes, Volvo, or Mack in the US market, with a hydraulic boom mounted on top. The boom folds down for highway transport and unfolds on site into articulated segments. A 40-meter pump has 4 or 5 segments. A 70-meter pump has 6 or 7. Concrete gets pumped from a hopper at the truck base through a steel pipe that runs the length of the boom and out the end wherever the concrete needs to go. On a high-rise deck pour, the boom places concrete with accuracy no human crew could match. Before boom pumps, concrete went to high places through buckets on cranes, portable conveyors, and bucket lifts. All slower, more dangerous, more limited. The boom pump made the 50-story concrete tower economical and the complex deck pour possible on a tight schedule. Without Putzmeister, Schwing, and Sife, the American commercial skyline looks different. Putzmeister was founded by a mechanical engineer named Karl Schlecht. The company started with mortar pumps and evolved into concrete pumps through the 1960s and 70s. By the 1980s, Putzmeister was the premium brand in the global concrete pump industry. The M-Series boom pumps, the M46, the M56, the M63, defined what a high-rise concrete pump looked like. Putzmeister America ran out of Sturtevant, Wisconsin. Every major American concrete contractor had Putzmeisters in the fleet. Schwing was even older. Founded in Herne in 1934, Schwing started manufacturing concrete pumps after the Second World War. By the 1960s, Schwing had developed the twin-cylinder hydraulic pump that became the industry standard. Schwing America ran out of St. Paul, Minnesota. In 2010, Schwing America emerged from Chapter 11 bankruptcy after the construction collapse. Core engineering stayed in Germany across roughly 3,300 employees in 7 countries. CFA held the 3rd position. Based in Senegal, near Milan, CFA expanded into concrete pumps through the post-war Italian construction boom. By the 2000s, Sife was the 2nd largest concrete pump manufacturer in Europe by revenue. Italian engineering, Italian design, strong across Southern Europe and the Mediterranean. Then came 2008. The global financial crisis hit Europe hard. Construction spending collapsed. Concrete pump sales dried up. CFA went looking for capital. That capital came from Changsha, China. Zoomlion is a Chinese construction equipment company founded in 1992. By 2008, Zoomlion was one of the 3 largest Chinese construction equipment manufacturers alongside Sany and XCMG. The deal closed in September. Zoomlion led a consortium that also included Goldman Sachs and Honey Capital. CFA kept its Italian management. CFA products kept the CFA name. Italian engineering continued in Senegal, but the ownership was Chinese. By 2013, Zoomlion had bought out the remaining partners and owned SIFA outright. Most Americans did not notice. SIFA was a smaller presence in the U.S. market than Putzmeister or Schwing. The deal got limited coverage in U.S. construction press. The real shock came 4 years later. In January of 2012, Sany Heavy Industry, a Changsha-based industrial giant founded in 1989, signed the agreement to buy Putzmeister. Sany and CITIC Private Equity together acquired 100% of the company for 360 million euros. Karl Schlecht, the Putzmeister founder who still controlled the company, agreed to sell. He had no clear family succession. Sany had capital. The proceeds went to the Schlecht family foundations. At the time, it was the largest Chinese-German industrial acquisition in history. Industry press called it a watershed moment for Chinese global industrial expansion. Sany's stated goal was to become the largest concrete pump manufacturer in the world, and Putzmeister made that achievable overnight. Sany now had manufacturing, engineering, and dealer infrastructure across Europe, North America, South America, and Asia. American contractors running Putzmeisters had a choice: switch brands or keep running the iron they already owned. Almost all of them kept running Putzmeisters. The service relationships were in place. Putzmeister America continued out of Sturtevant with much the same staff. The day after the acquisition looked like the day before. 3 months after the Sany deal closed, the second shoe dropped. XCMG, the Chinese state-linked construction equipment giant based in Suzhou, announced a majority stake in Schwing Group at the Intermat show in Paris. The deal closed in July 2012 in Essen. XCMG acquired 52%. German management was retained. But there was a catch. As a precondition of the sale, Schwing cut roughly 170 jobs at the Hearn headquarters, more than a fifth of the positions at that location. The Financial Times reported the cuts. 3 of the 4 largest European concrete pump manufacturers were now Chinese-owned. Only Liebherr remained independent. Liebherr is a Swiss-German family-owned industrial conglomerate founded in 1949 by Hans Liebherr in Kirchdorf. The company grew into a global heavy equipment manufacturer spanning cranes, excavators, concrete pumps, mining trucks, and aerospace components. The Liebherr family owns the company directly through a holding structure designed to prevent outside acquisition. The family has stated repeatedly that Liebherr will not be sold. When European competitors went looking for capital during the 2008 crisis, Liebherr did not. The family had enough wealth and enough internal cash flow to ride out the downturn. That is why Liebherr is still German-owned today. Every family-owned European manufacturer that faced the choice either sold to China or held the line. Putzmeister sold, Schwing sold, CFA sold, Liebherr refused. The difference is not engineering. The difference is ownership structure. After the Chinese acquisitions closed, something interesting happened. The Chinese parents did not strip out the European operations. They invested. Sany poured capital into Putzmeister's German research and development. XCMG funded new Schwing product development. The European engineering teams continued working, now with access to Chinese manufacturing scale and Chinese domestic demand that dwarfed anything the Europeans had alone. The result pushed the category past limits Europeans would never have reached on their own. In September of 2012, Zoomlion rolled out a 101-meter carbon fiber boom pump on a Scania 7-axle chassis. The Guinness World Records organization certified it as the longest truck-mounted concrete pump ever built. The top 4 sections are carbon fiber, developed through Zoomlion's Italian SIFA operation. Sany's production boom pumps push into the 80-meter class. Commercial fleets in the Middle East and China now routinely spec boom reaches European and American manufacturers never built at volume. At the time of the 2012 acquisitions, China was already producing roughly 4,000 of the 6,000 truck-mounted concrete pumps made worldwide each year, according to reporting from Engineering News Record. That ratio has only grown. Today, the global concrete pump industry is effectively a Chinese industry with European and Korean specialty players. The latest Putzmeister boom pumps incorporate engineering decisions made in joint German-Chinese design reviews. Control systems, hydraulic architecture, boom kinematics, operator interfaces, all of it reflects a fused German-Chinese design philosophy rather than purely German engineering. Zoomlion has done the same with SIFA. The Italian design heritage is preserved in the outward appearance, but the internal components, the hydraulic pumps, valves, sensors, and diagnostic systems, are increasingly sourced from Zoomlion's Chinese supply chain. American service technicians who open up a modern CIFO pump find Chinese-manufactured components inside an Italian-branded chassis. This creates a problem Americans have not confronted. American concrete construction depends on a supply chain that is now overwhelmingly Chinese. When a Putzmeister M56 goes down on a high-rise pour in Chicago, the replacement parts flow through a supply chain that terminates in Chinese factories. The next generation of service engineers in the U.S. concrete pump industry are being certified on Chinese-designed platforms. American alternatives exist but are limited. Reed Concrete. Pumps in Los Angeles manufactures trailer pumps and smaller boom pumps. Alliance and Concord in Canada hold similar niches. None of them build production boom pumps at the 70-meter scale. The American domestic industry lost the premium boom pump category in the 1980s and never recovered. The remaining non-Chinese option is Korean. KCP Heavy Industries and Junjin manufacture full lines of concrete pumps that compete credibly with the Europeans. They have grown their North American presence by offering contractors a way to avoid Chinese-owned iron without paying the Liebherr premium. Concrete pumping is not a sexy industry. It does not show up in defense policy discussions. It does not appear in trade negotiations. But every major American infrastructure project, every high-rise tower, every major bridge deck, every Department of Defense construction project, every data center, every hospital, every airport terminal depends on concrete pumps, and the supply chain for those pumps now runs overwhelmingly through Chinese industrial conglomerates. American semiconductor manufacturing got the CHIPS Act. Rare earth mining got emergency executive orders. Drone components got congressional hearings. Concrete pumps got nothing. If the relationship between the United States and China degrades and parts shipments get interrupted, American concrete construction has a problem that cannot be solved in 12 months. Building a domestic boom pump industry takes a decade. Replacing the installed fleet of Putzmeister and Schwing pumps takes another decade. A typical Putzmeister M56 costs roughly $1 million new and has hundreds of wear parts on various maintenance schedules. Delivery cylinders, S-tube valves. These are now manufactured primarily in China, regardless of which brand name is on the machine. If container ships stop crossing the Pacific, the American concrete pump fleet starts degrading within months. Chinese manufacturers are investing heavily in electric and hybrid concrete pumps. Sany and Zoomlion have both shown battery electric units for emissions-restricted urban work. Putzmeister, under Sany ownership, has already released the Iontron, a hybrid truck-mounted pump. The question is whether any non-Chinese company is positioned to compete at volume. Liebherr's concrete pump segment is too small to lead the category. American engineering is focused elsewhere. The strategic window for rebuilding a non-Chinese concrete pump industry is probably closed. For American contractors, the practical advice is straightforward. Know whether your Putzmeister is pre-Sany or post-Sany. Know whether your Schwing parts come from Hearn or Suzhou. Know which of your competitors is running Liebherr or KCP for supply chain reasons. The brand name on the machine no longer tells you who made it. The next time you stand on a high-rise deck, pour and watch a 60-meter boom extend over the edge to place concrete 50 stories up. Look closely at the truck. The boom says Putzmeister in clean white lettering. The hopper has the Putzmeister elephant logo that has been on German concrete pumps for 60 years. The machine looks German. It sounds German. It pours like a German machine should pour. But the parent company is in Changsha, China. The profits flow to Sany. The next generation engineering decisions happen in joint German-Chinese design reviews. The German identity is now a brand, not an ownership structure. For 40 years, European iron built the American skyline. For the next 40 years, Chinese-owned iron will keep building it. The acquisitions that made that true happened in a 5-year window, and almost nobody in American construction noticed. If you found this useful, subscribe. We cover the heavy machinery stories nobody else in this space tells. American concrete pumps are Chinese now. They have been for over a decade. Most contractors have not realized it yet. By the time they do, the category will already be decided. It already is.